Lauren, I'll just interrupt you for a moment to note that the House did just pass the bill. In fact, with one Democrat.
How about it?
Jared Golden, the congressman from Maine, deciding to cast a vote for this continuing resolution. I don't know if that surprises you at all, Lauren. He's obviously one of the very vulnerable swing district Democrats.
Yeah, so I mean, it surprises me, but I haven't done a ton of politicking in Maine recently, so maybe I'm not the best judge for that.
Record their vote by electronic device. It's a 5-minute vote.
Just putting a quick ear on the floor here as they get it done. There was a round of applause. Donald Trump is still talking to the Business Roundtable. Presumably will be for a bit of time here. This was all baked in advance. He obviously isn't available to be making phone calls right now.
I mean, you got to hope that Mike Johnson finally learned to live by the gospel of Nancy Pelosi. Like, you never bring up a vote if you think you're going to lose. He learned and was burned in the last Congress multiple times. So I think that clearly they felt they had the votes. And Jared Golden, not as surprising given like where his district is. I mean, it's one of the more Trump-leaning districts in the country. You raise a good point on the debt limit, because I think like, Democrats are much more comfortable voting down, and if the government shuts down on this front. Yeah. The debt limit, I think, is something that philosophically recognize like the responsibility to keep the government, to not mess with the debt limit, and the full faith and credit of the U.S. government not being questioned. So I think there's another leg for that to unfold. I think the Democrats will probably, and if it comes to a fight like that, will keep will raise the debt limit. It just is tough when you've had the well poisoned so poorly with the DOJ and all the cuts and just blatantly violating congressional authority on spending. Well,
and it's possible that the debt limit gets rolled into the wider budget reconciliation effort, Lauren. That's the structure the House has outlined in its budget structure, at least, budget resolution that already passed. We understand that, and you mentioned this earlier, Vice President J.D. Vance lobbying on Capitol Hill today made the argument to Republicans, you need to pass this thing to keep the government open so that we can get on to the rest of it, that reconciliation package with tax cuts and border funding and all of that. How quickly can that really move on from here?
I mean, very quickly. They can go ahead and they've been working on this for a while. So, you know, the big, beautiful bill and everything else.
So, I've heard that one twice.
So they can get moving on it pretty quickly. But again, it's just how unified will the Republicans remain? I mean, I think this was a good test for them to make sure that they can bring everybody along. And obviously, the strong arming by the administration worked. You know, with only one holdout, that's pretty good. There's zero to lose, right, when they're dealing with some of these bills. So you would expect then that they can move pretty quickly on the reconciliation package over the next couple weeks.